So, I saw a movie recently called Limitless. And I don't, as you know, as a rule, I do not see movies that are rated PG or PG-13 or violence, movies that are filled with violence, or which glorify violence. For instance, I would see a movie that promoted a moral message if that movie contained violence. If that movie had within it, as part of the message, promoting a moral message, a Christian message, violence. Such as, for instance, The Passion of the Christ. That movie was very violent. Violent to the degree that I believe some people had to turn away from it because it was so violent. But yet I believe that violence was not only justified, I believe it's necessary to see, and also it's desirable, because you want to know what was required to earn our salvation through Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ came down to the earth, God in the flesh, in the form of a man, came down to the earth, died on the cross, was buried, and on the third day rose again. And so there are times when you need violence to be depicted, the depiction of violence. A graphic presentation or illustration on film of violence to make the point that good triumphs over evil. And so, upon the recommendation of some of my Christian friends who told me that Limitless, the movie was called Limitless, that this movie was a good movie, that I might take my son to go see this movie because it promoted the idea of human perseverance. And also it dealt with the dangers of drug use. That's what I was told. And so I took my son to go see this movie, Limitless. Actually, I didn't take my son to see it. I rented it, and together we saw it. We watched it together. But, and so it was only $1, $1.50, something like that. But the point is, when you sit down to watch a movie, whatever that movie is, I don't care if it's rated G, whether it's a documentary on animals, history, or whether it's a movie that's showing, in a fictional sense, a historical happening, an historic event, such as Saving Private Ryan, or Red Tails, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone. But, so the movie Limitless, we sat down to watch this, and anything you watch, you're putting into your soul, through your ears, through your eyes, through your brain, It's all getting in there. And so I sat down, put the DVD in the player, pushed the button. Now we have our refreshments there. And it was an interesting premise. Some writer, man's a writer. The main character writes books for a living. So I thought, well, this is interesting. The main character writes books for a living. That's interesting. I was waiting to see where the message would come in that drug use was dangerous and that perseverance is a fine human virtue to which we should all aspire. And I watched, and then pretty soon the main character is taking some kind of a drug that gives him super speed. He can see through walls. Apparently he can fly. He's running through the city at super speed. It causes his body to actually separate from itself so that there are multiple selves, multiple characters of this character in one spot at the same time. And he's running around, he's doing all these acts of violence, he's having illicit sexual relationships with women.